Hey guys, what's up? Today we gotta get our Baileigh 4x4 plasma table wired in so we can actually start using it. Alright guys, like I was saying, we got to get our Baileigh 4x4 plasma water table wired into its 240 volt plug that controls, it's for like the little electric motor kit controller unit. I guess these motors need a little more voltage than the 2x2 table. So we're going to go ahead and get there's a plug-in behind the table that I was using for my flat screen, but that's out of there. There's no room for that no more. We got to work. There's no room for entertainment in here. So we got to get that rewired to be a 240 volt plug, which is pretty easy to do. So we're going to get that done, get the table wired into it, and then we can move on and continue to work with the Cougar House Fab IFS Super Duty K member here. So let's get started.
Alright, so this switch normally plug into there, run an extension cord, and then that goes up to that, which I mean is kind of sloppy and annoying. This thing's all in the way. So what we're doing is we're going to attach another wire to this switch and run it up through there to a little box over there or whatever, probably just right there. Anyway, that box is going to be on this switch. Right now the plug's on the switch, but the hot's right there, the common's there, and when you flip the switch that way, power goes through the switch, through there, those are connected, so it goes from there to that one, powers that outlet, and the common's just kind of hanging out there. So the hot's what it stops and what it starts. So the hot for this next wire is going to go right there, and the common's going to go right there, because there's nowhere else to put it. Then we'll just run it up there. I don't know if Scott wants to make this outlet on the bottom constant power or not. If he does, then I'll move this common to there, and then I'll move the other common to there, or not common, hot, sorry, to there. Then the outlet will always be hot, and then just this little prong on the switch will be on the switch. So yeah, that's all we're doing. I got some old MIG wire. I taped a punch to it for weight, and I dropped it down there, and that tiny little hole back there is what I have to work with. So I've got a grip on it now with the surgical plier things. Now I just got to fish it through without letting it go, and then attach that wire to it, bundle a wire to it, and pull it up through there. So yeah, it's going about as easy as you'd expect, which is not particularly easy, but it's working, so it's all that matters.
Now that Brandon's got that wired in, he's going to go turn on the fuse box, the breaker at the fuse box, and we'll see if it works. Go for it. Oh, there's the fan going. Awesome. That's way better than having an extension cord hanging from the wall, plugged into that. Upgrade, plus 1,000 horsepower. now that we got that fan wired in, so it's super convenient now, we can just walk over there, flip the switch on, we're welding or grinding or plasma cutting. We're going to go ahead and go over to the plasma table here, and we're going to get its 240 volt wired in for the electric motor computer driver, because I guess these electric motors just need a little more voltage than the 110 set up on our 2x2. So we're going to go ahead and get that 240 volt wired in real quick now. Got something from Amazon. Let's see what it is. Oh, paint. Okay, we ordered some TranStar black primer slash. I mean, this stuff's cool because it's got the sealer in it, and it's direct to metal sealer primer. So this will be great. We're going to spray the Super Duty frame with this when we get all finished up fabricating here. Now, here's all the stuff we need to change our plug over to 240 volt. That's to repair a switch in the barn. 240 volt, 20 amp plug. Receptacle to put in the wall, since we've already, it's got these little holders, so it'll go and pinch it in there since there's the panel's already made. So then we've got a 20 amp dual pole breaker, which you need to do this. Then I got the 240 volt plug and cover. Alright, let's get started. As you guys can see over here, here's the GFI I'm talking about. So we're going to move that down the wall so we can plug, the cord will reach. And then we're going to use its 2 wires and turn it into a 240 volt plug. It'll be the dedicated plug for the plasma table here. And it's not like it's for the plasma cutter, it's just for this little controller box thing. You see that cord coming out, that little one there in the middle? That's the 240 volt, 220, whatever you want to call it, for the controller box. So we're going to go ahead and get that wired up now. Alright, cool. We got that wired into the box. We got our 240 outlet down here looking all nice and safe. So now we put our 240 volt end on the end of our cord here. Here's the problem. As you can see, that is not long enough to reach over there. So we're going to go have to pick up some of this 300 volt 3 wire. Let's see if I get it focused. You see there? 3 wire. 300 volt wire. So we're going to run down to Pro Build in town real quick and see if we can pick up some wire and wire that in, so that way tomorrow can be just a full work day.
Why did you take my light? The darkness will not
Alright guys, we got our 300 volt wire here on our cover for the outlet that was on the wall. Now let's get back to the shop, get this wired in. Alright, first things first, we'll get this outlet cover on. Oh, that's a little dangerous, isn't it? Electrical spider. Ah! Bzzzt. Guys, so what we're going to do here isn't really rocket science. We're going to take the screws off this little panel and get that wire out of there, strip the ends of our new one, put it in through that, connect it to the device that's in there, and then run it over to our outlet we made on the wall.
Alright, so here's what we got going on in here. All kinds of stuff. These look like they drive the stepper motors for everything. God, I don't know what the rest of this is. Oh, cool. Y-axis, C-axis. What the hell's C-axis?
It's this part. See?
X, Y, Z. That should be Z.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what the hell C is. Oh, there's nothing going to it, but whatever.
Probably one for twisting dome.
Another power thing. What do we got in here? What's that? I think that's the on-off for the plasma. Don't quote me on that though.
Same, those two brown wires make sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. Yeah. So I'm assuming this is the board that actually controls everything and sends power out to everywhere else to do whatever it needs to do, man. Yeah, those are definitely the stepper motor drivers. What do we got? There's the board that supplies all the power. Like, big power. I don't know what the hell that is.
Can you easily see the one that we need to extend?
I can see these two wires. They go up into here, which makes sense. But I can't see. Okay, there's a green one. Where's that go? Down there. Cool. Alright, we got it.
Let's get this wire.
A little block right there. Let's do this.
Alright guys, so that kind of ends today. We got the plasma table wired in. I mean, we had to go make that run to pro build and get some 300 volt 12 gauge 3-3, you know, 3 12 gauge wires in a loom. You know, 300 volt, got that, wired it in to our plasma table. The piece itself was too short that came in it, so we pulled that, I don't know, controller box out and wired in our new one. It wasn't too hard. But so we got that done. We got our fan wired in across the garage there, so now we don't have to have an extension cord from the outlet up. I mean, it's kind of how I originally designed it when I first remodeled in here 3 years ago. So that's nice. We can just go over now and switch that fan on anytime we're grinding, welding, or plasma cutting, so we can get all the toxic fumes out of here. And then we got our table wired up, and we're able to go ahead and start cutting out pieces and finish up our Cougar House Fab IFS Super Duty K-member. So, alright guys, this kind of ended this afternoon. It took up all of our time wiring all this stuff in, but now we're ready to continue working. So, we'll see you guys in the morning. Hey guys, it's the next morning. We're going to continue working right where we left off. We're going to get our plasma cutter itself wired into the wall there, and then we're going to get into our engineering PC here, and hopefully we can this new table will work with our previous software, and we can get these front 2 pieces cut out, and then we can get them welded into the K-member, and then get the whole bottom side of the K-member welded on the welding table, and then get it into the chassis here and get it welded up, or at least fully into the chassis, and then we can, from there, in our next episode, we can continue just putting in the last pieces to it, and then move on to engine mounts. So let's continue working here. Alright, so Brandon's got the table all set up this morning. He got the software programmed into it. So he's got the cutting head all the way over to home now, and he's got the main high voltage power wired in over there, the plasma cutter itself. So now we're pretty much ready to cut out the few pieces we need for the K-member. But before we do that, we're going to go do a bunch of welding.
This thing is like perfectly in its home right now. I got the spots marked there and there. I got blocks of wood underneath. It's the exact nice right height with the blocks of wood, which is perfect. Ow. Frames at the right height for everything. It's all good. So now what I need to do is take it off, weld all this, weld all that, weld everything, weld it all everywhere. So yeah, let's go weld everything everywhere.
Alright guys, so Brandon's pretty much got this ready to fully weld. We just got to put in this back piece and then this front piece, and we can fully weld it. But we got to have those in there so it won't move or do anything funky when we're doing all these, you know, 20-inch long welds and stuff. So we're going to go over to the engineering PC and get those designed up and then cut them out. Alright, so now that we got those pieces cut out on the plasma table, it went pretty smooth for our first time, I gotta say. Well, at least for the 4x4, not our first time using a plasma table itself. But so we got those pieces cut out. So all we got to do now is grind the edges so they fit in the perfect in the front of that K-member, and then we're gonna go ahead and get them welded up. Let's do this. Finally welding it together.
Last night in my dream, all my feet had been disconnected. Time was thrown at the wind, and all of my friends had been disaffected. And now I'm searching for trust in a city of rust, a city of vampires. Tonight, Elvis is dead, and everyone is spread, and love is a satire. And now I know my heart is a ghost town. Now I know my heart is a ghost town.
Now that we got all the main pieces of the tortoise shell together, those front two plates there, and the rest of the lower pieces themselves, we're going to go ahead and flip it over and acetone it, and then anti-spatter where we're welding, and then go ahead and fully weld up the whole bottom side of it, and then we'll take it over and put it in the chassis for its final time. Awesome, it looks great. The welds look really consistent. Killer. Couldn't have asked for better. Alright guys, so now that we got that pretty much fully welded as far as the bottom side goes, we're going to go ahead and take it over and put it in the chassis for its final time. floor, guys. It's been a pretty productive couple of days, past couple days. We got our table wired up yesterday so we can actually start designing and cutting out those two front pieces we needed for our K-member. And then this morning, Brandon and I came in here, designed up those pieces we needed, cut them out on the machine. We used it the first time, got it, awesome. So that was pretty cool that we didn't have to mess with that or deal with anything being weird about it. We just got it first try, so that was super cool. It pretty much uses the same program that the 2x2 table uses, so we just inputted the information we already had as far as designing in that program, designed them up our parts in that, and then just uploaded it into this table. It came with Bobcad CAM software. We'll start playing with that next week when we get in here after celebrating Christmas and stuff. So we'll get moving on to that then. But we got our front pieces cut out, and then we got them welded into the front of the K-member. We flipped it over, did all of our under welding, so that way we could just get it into the chassis and we wouldn't have to do none of that once it's in the chassis. Got all that done, got it set into the chassis, got it positioned where it's supposed to be, tacked it in, remeasured, it's exactly where we want it, and then we laid the frame out. So that was pretty sweet to be able to see the frame laid out again. I haven't seen that in a few months, so that's always really motivating on this particular project to see it laid out on the ground. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about this truck, in my opinion, is that it lays frame and it's got a Cummins in it. So usually most Cummins projects are just four-wheel drive swap Super Duties or Cummins builds or pull truck builds or street race trucks, you know, they're not lifted and they have the solid axles front and rear and they just run the low profile tires on some nice wheels. That's like a street assassin truck, but this truck's pretty awesome in our opinion because it's laid out on frame and it has airbags and has the Cummins in it and it's a dually. So we really love working on this project. It's a lot of fun. So next week when we come in here, we'll weld on the front and back pieces of the tortoise legs there. You can see they're open. Once we get them tacked on, then we'll fully weld it up, mount our rack and pinion, and remount our suspension, and then we'll set the Cummins back into the truck, and then we'll measure and design up and cut out some engine mounts with the Cummins. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, thanks for your constant support as always. You know, we're not going to be uploading the next couple days because, you know, it's Christmas, so we're going to be celebrating Christmas. So we'll catch you guys in probably 3 days before we upload again. But hey, thanks for being here, and I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. And then check us out at Facebook/Cougar House Garage. Check out our website, Cougar House Garage. There's key tags up there. That was our great Christmas gift. A little late now, but whatever. And then check us out at Instagram. We are Cougar House Garage on Instagram. Follow Project Sacrilege on there and the 5th Generation 400 Straight Axle Project. And we'll see you guys after Christmas.